Good morning, everybody. So, cut my hair. I wanted to talk about something new in my life that's happening pretty recently. So, some of you have been following me. You may have seen that the last couple of months, last couple of weeks, there was a lot of stuckness. It's like I'm a guy, and I'm going to these KAP sessions. And all of a sudden, in the KAP sessions, I started to have like very deep energetical visions about like a connection with a certain person, like a very deep emotional connection, and visions about the future. And it's all started to emerge. Now, I didn't know how to relate to all of that. I didn't know how to contextualize all of that and bring it all into a place where it doesn't bother me, whether it's just like where I have the feeling, I have the idea, the thought, because after the sessions I would feel this draw, this very, very strong pull towards this person. Now, I started to share this with the person, and she was like, yeah, you need to stay in your heart, and stop going to KAP sessions so often, integrate. And I was like, can you tell me, like, do you also have that kind of thing, or don't you? And she was like, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna make it easy for you. And I was like, please, just can you tell me, no, I don't have any feelings for you, this is not mutual, because that way my mind can understand it. I'm like, okay, so this part of the sessions is let's say is not real. Because when I talked about it with my teacher, she explained to me how when you go through inner dance and you go through all these processes, when orange, or the kundalini is, when it like starts to become active and start to release material from past lives, certain desires, certain information, that it's like, and it's very strong, but that doesn't mean that it has to be materialized. So for me, it was all about learning how to contextualize this, how to instead of reacting with the mind to the new impulses, to the new feelings, and allowing the heart to be with it, and to let go of the control, to let go of the need for something to happen, to let go of the need to do something with it. This was like a process that took a couple of weeks, where like I tried different things, trying to do meditations, trying to release it, trying to do like doing like visualizations about breaking a soul contract, all kinds of things, because I just wanted to be free of it. But hidden underneath that was a fear to fall in love. So brought up that for me, and that was like, let's say, seen. And then in a couple of sessions, and also doing some work at home, looking at it, investigating it, analyzing it, digging into it, there was an understanding of why there was a fear to fall in love. So all of a sudden, yeah, it just like I went to a KAP session, and all of a sudden it wasn't there anymore. Like I would keep seeing these like barbed wires around my heart, like tensing my heart up to not, I couldn't fall in love. So every time the facilitator would come near me and she would touch me here, or I would feel this tension, this pressure, and the energy would want to rise up, but it was like I started to scream, because there was no ability to fully expand or fully let it in. Like there was no ability to fully let love in, or to give fully in love, or give love fully away. No, it's about the love couldn't go fully in. Yeah. because there was a fear to be taken by love, to fall in love. And then in the session, I just came, and the facilitator started to work with the heart, and all of a sudden, just heart orgasm, my whole body tingling, my whole body releasing, just feeling completely in love. And it was like you're lying on the ground, you're looking, and you're seeing, like I even open my eyes, you're looking, and you have this sensation like you're falling through air, but you're falling through air with this like with this enjoyment. It's like so pleasurable, so fun. But I'm lying on the floor, so it was like a very neat sensation to an experience to have that, to fall in love totally. And I remember a session where I started to have like deep orgasms, like screaming into the room, like moaning, and yeah, it was interesting. And especially the reactions also afterwards. It was like a couple of people, like 2 or 3 people, I think 2 people, who shared how they were triggered by that. It was very interesting. Now, I came to a point where I realized, like, okay, talking with this person, interacting with the person, expecting this person to give me an answer, it's not gonna cut it. It's not gonna fix my inability to accept these feelings, my inability to be with these feelings, my resistance to these feelings. So there was a period where I was just like, I realized that something wasn't working, and I thought, like, there was like, yeah, I was in a sort of kind of state of being, an altered state of consciousness, and I was looking at it. I was like looking at the relationship between that person and me, and then I saw how there were stories attached to it, expectations attached to it, all kinds of things, and it just came spontaneously, like, this can now be healed by love. And then I would feel energy move into my body. I would like shift some things, and I would open my eyes, and I would feel like just this spaciousness in my heart, and I would feel like it's okay to let go. It's okay to not chase it. It's okay to not have it. It's okay to be intimate, to be open, to be alive, and to keep going on, no matter what's happening or not happening. It was a very freeing experience. I'm saying it like whatever's happening or not happening, but what I really mean is there was a sense of intimacy with my own vulnerability about it, with me wanting love, with me wanting to be in love and not getting it. All of that. There was an embrace of that. It was like all of a sudden, instead of my mind reacting to it and not wanting me to be in this position, not being this person who feels like this and who is in this position with this person where I'm not wanted. And all of a sudden, it was embraced, and it was a great teaching, great opportunity. Like at a certain point, like we were exchanging emails, and she told me, like, yeah, we need to go our separate ways. And like my mind had a reaction to it. I don't remember exactly, but my mind had a reaction, but my heart was okay with it. And she was like, yeah, you cannot come to my sessions anymore. And I thought it was so funny, because I was like, wow, 2 months ago, when I was afraid of these feelings, I didn't want to go to your sessions. I was avoiding you because of the fear. But I didn't know it back then. I thought I was taking the high ground or the higher road, like focusing on myself. But I was just avoiding feeling vulnerable, feeling the feelings and facing the person. Or rather, it's so subtle, like all these layers, it's so subtle. Rather, when I look back at it, it's like it just hurts so much to want somebody and them not them not being open to it, not um, not not touching you in that place, not interacting, not meeting you in that space, right? And it just, for me, at that point, at that time, there was hurt. So I wanted to avoid that hurt. So I made up I might make all kinds of plans and stories. And I mean, maybe all of this that I'm saying can be recontextualized when I'm at another point in time and space, but it's the way that it feels now. And what happened was when she said, we need to go our separate ways, I felt this peace with it. It's like, okay, so I then said like what she said to me back then when I wanted to go away. It's like, yeah, you're always welcome. I'm always open. And yeah, I've love for you, and I wish you the best, and see ya. And yeah, like some time passed, and I just like at some point I just like unfollowed her, but it wasn't like from a place of wanting to push away, or it was just like there was this soft sweetness of knowing like there's nothing here, and it was okay to feel what I feel and to move on. And so yeah, there was a spaciousness all of a sudden in my life. There was like a tender quality with myself, like being with myself, like yeah. And all of a sudden there was like this ability to just go through the feelings and to see what's ahead of me, to be open to what's ahead of me. And I was talking to my friend and I said, wow, you know, every story has a beginning, middle, and an end. And I'm ready to close this chapter of my life. I'm ready to close this saga, you know. And yeah, I'm closing it. And I've said everything I wanted to say. There's nothing left unsaid. I've done everything I could have done. I've engaged fully. And yeah, I've given everything. So I feel like it's just time. It's a it's obvious to just move on. And then something really interesting happened, and I did not expect this. Honestly, this was yeah, very unexpected. So I was having like last couple of weeks a lot of signs, a lot of like signs, things coming like about a new life, about a new love, about new opportunities. Like I would see these messages, and they would like somehow like I stopped at them and they would resonate with me. And I would feel like this spontaneous pull somewhat to look at like whoa, the community of air dance in the eco village in the Philippines, like wanted to reach out, wanted to go stay there. And I wrote an email and all that. And all of a sudden, like I just felt this pull. I had also done a QHHT session, a quantum healing hypnosis therapy session, where there was like a moment at the end of the session where I could see being revealed to me a lot of answers about, like, it put things into perspective. What was clear, it was all being made clear for me. What's relevant to my life, about my path, about my purpose, about the things that I need to work on, the steps that I need to take going forward, about what happened with this woman, about a lot of things. For me, a big thing is about self-acceptance, community, involvement, duty, service to others, taking a leadership position. Yeah, like a lot of things. And also developing my masculine side more and stepping into that more. I'm having a workshop actually in 3 weeks. It's a 2-day workshop, and I'm really looking forward to it. Really looking forward to it. It's a man group, and we're gonna go really deep. I know it for sure. So yeah, keep watching out for that that video. So anyway, what happened was, all of a sudden I had this reaction on my YouTube channel from a woman, and she was like, she was going through her own journey with KAP, and she had done a couple of KAP sessions, and she intuitively, like, I found this very inspiring. It's like, whoa, intuitively she felt like this connection with the KAP energy, and she felt like she could also start to facilitate it without having to go through the facilitator training. I was like, wow. So she was reaching out, and she was asking me about my facilitating experiences. Now, I was only doing facilitation with inner dance. I was going through the program, like I've done 7 of the 12 weeks. I haven't completed it yet. And but I was already facilitating. I even let my friend facilitate once. It was, it's an amazing process. Very, very surprising for me also to learn all the ins and outs, all the dynamics. And so she was asking me about KAP and facilitating, and I was like, yeah, let's do a Zoom call. Like, I just had this impulse, like, let's do a Zoom call and let's talk about it. So during the Zoom call, like, my personality came out, and I was just so curious. I wanted to find out, who is this person? What is she about? What's her journey been like? So I started to ask all these kind of questions. We were just arising. It was the curiosity. And all of a sudden I realized this looking afterwards, that, like, whoa, all the things that she mentioned that came up, they were like things that were super interesting to me. They were like things that were of interest to me, but I never highlighted them. And all of a sudden, it was like she was here, and she was like unpacking all these things, and I was like, oh, I'm interested in that. I'm interested in that. I'm interested in that. I'm interested. This is all so active for me. This is all so interesting for me. So I was like, whoa, she's like giving me like all these insights, all these pointings, like here. I was like, whoa, okay. Before, I was never like very much drawn, or maybe I was drawn, but I was never like very much, I always hesitated to delve into topics like channeling and certain kind of energy work and the things that she was talking about, but because there was a judgment about it, because listening to some speakers, they talk about on the road to enlightenment. This is me paraphrasing, right? The road to enlightenment. There's a whole circus, right? The esoterical world, the mystical world. It's like as big, if not bigger, than everything here, and it can be like a distraction, in the sense that you can, you can do all kinds of things: chakra readings, bone marrow readings, all kinds of massages, all kinds of runes and stones, and oracle card readings, and family system, so much. And then you can do channeling. With channeling, it's very important that you know what's the intention of the thing that you're channeling, the entity that you're channeling, or the energy that you're channeling. And there was like this sense of like, it's already so hard for us to to understand like what the intentions are of other human beings. Imagine like trying to understand the intention of another entity from another side, from the astral world. So there was like a kind of resistance from me to investigate, to try out these things. She was like, she was so open to it, and I was so touched by how sincere she was, how open, how mellow and soft and sweet, and just so full of life, so alive. And it really touched me. And we talked about, and I shared my own experiences. And then what I noticed was the interactions between us started to become more frequent. Like over the last 5 days, it started to become more and more frequent. And it would happen so flowly, like it's like the tap water is just running, and there's like all of a sudden like this stream, and it's just streaming through it, like no resistance, like no agenda, no hidden motive, no wanting something, just like a very open, very flowy. And it was like going back and forth, like talking, and there was like a resonance. It was like this feeling of like, oh, we're so alike. And when you talk with somebody at a certain level about certain things with a certain intensity, and they're totally with you on that. Sometimes when you talk with people and all of a sudden you realize you've lost them back there. They don't understand what it's going on about. They don't understand anything really, because in a certain way they're, let's say, they're not really open to that, or they're not in that space. They have their own content in their consciousness that they're like busy with, and it's like it doesn't resonate, right? So with her, there was so much resonance on so different levels. And at a certain point, there was a moment where she was going to do a session, a Bufo session, a 5-MeO DMT session. And she was going to do it, and like there was this moment where it couldn't happen, and she told me about it, and I was like, wow, like, yeah, just like, okay. And I was sitting in a restaurant, and all of a sudden I felt like this feeling in my heart well up, like this deep feeling well up, and there was just like this knowing, something wants to move through me, something wants to support, to just be, I don't have any words for it. It's it's ineffable. Like I have a feeling, but it's very hard to express it. Maybe that's the reason to extend my vocabulary. So there was like this movement of energy, and I definitely knew like, okay. So I reached out to her and I was like, hey, maybe I can help with this and that. And then all of a sudden things worked out and they had this session and we started to talk and we had like contact, and all of a sudden there was like this whole depth of like a layer of connection that became apparent. It's like, you're just vibing together, and all of a sudden it's like there's this depth to it, and there's like so much commonality, so much, I meant mutuality. There's so much mutual, so much that you have in common, that just like, it just fits. And as the days went by, there was like this, all of a sudden, this realization like, wow, I really, I don't know why, but like while talking with the person, like sometimes I would go to sleep, I would wake up after an hour, and I would just like, I would like, hear like this shush sound, like shh, and I would just feel this stream, like the energy was streaming, and I would just like start to text, and we started to talk, and we started to do voice messages, and there was like this depth in my heart, this feeling in my heart that was very unexpected for me, because all of a sudden there was like a love, a real love, like, whoa, I care for you, I wish you the best, I see you, and I feel so much gratitude for you coming into my life, and yeah, like seeing you being happy and seeing you dance and enjoy, and it just made my heart like feel so much warmth and so much fullness. I got to experience that, and all of a sudden, yeah, we started to express that, and she started to express her own side, and then she started to share about her journey, how she was like living her life and then went to Bali, and there was like so much similarities to our paths, where we were, where she was and where I am before she went to Bali. And she started to talk about Bali and about the community and about the lifestyle, and just hearing all that, I got so triggered because I realized, I felt it like a deep presence, a deep knowing, like life is calling me. Like I felt like, whoa, this is like, I have no idea what's gonna happen. I have no idea whether maybe when I meet this person, we're not gonna like each other. Maybe when I meet her, we're not gonna, like, we're just not gonna hit it off, or it's gonna be awkward, or this is all the mind's react. But I mean, everything's possible. Maybe when we meet, it's just like it's not gonna like resonate, or our energy will be different, and we won't like be at the same frequency or move at the same pace or whatever. But I was like, I understood it doesn't matter. It's not about that. It's about, like, it made me think about this book that I read, The Surrender Experiment by Michael A. Singer. It's about how your life has a flow to it, a natural flow to it. And your mind has ideas about how your life should be, and what you should do in your life, and what should happen in your life, and what you want to happen in your life. And sometimes the flow of life is presenting you through people, through situations, with a variety of a plethora of opportunities, of experiences, which invite you into the unknown. Sometimes you may have judgments about it. Sometimes you may have resistance about it. Sometimes it just feels like, why would I even do this? Like, I never thought about that. Or sometimes it just like, it all fits together and you're like, whoa, this is exactly what I was waiting for. So it's very it's like what they call synchronicity, like getting signs from the universe, being at the right place at the right time, um, being in tune with your life, flowing with your life. So for me, I felt it. I felt it so hard. I was like, Bali, that lifestyle, the community, um, her as a friend, because I told her, like, whatever may happen or doesn't happen, first and foremost, I feel deep love for you as a person, and I just want to, yeah, be there as a friend for you. Like, because, relationships, lovers, all of that, it all comes and goes. It can get very complicated because there's a very specific dynamic, and there are very specific forms. But friendships are very, like, they can get complicated for sure, but they are very simple always. It's about sharing your journey together for any certain of time and enjoying life together and supporting each other. And I was like, yeah, that I can do. I don't know about all the other stuff. I don't know to what I can commit or not commit, or like, but I just know being a friend, I can be a friend. And I've love, and I can be a friend who loves and who gives everything that he can give. Uh, yeah, who's involved. So for me, it's like my path has become so clear. Um, yeah, so I'm gonna now in the future finish off some trainings, and then after the trainings are done, um, I'm gonna go and check it out. I'm gonna go to Bali, gonna go check it out, gonna go to see how I can be there, gonna experience it, gonna see how people live there, how I can live there, and if it resonates, if it's for me, I'll stay. And if not, I'll probably learn and experience new things there anyway, so it'll just be a redirection. So I have nothing to lose, and this feels so wrong to say it, everything to gain. It's not about gaining and losing, it's about, um, yeah, being alive. Yeah. Mm. Exposing myself to life, to the unknown, and trusting and surrendering. And what's the worst that can happen if I just stay in my heart? So yeah, really excited for this. Really grateful for this. I did not expect it at all, and yeah, it just feels like such a gift, such a such a blessing to to have like this spontaneous connection, somebody who through YouTube, and then have this whole new, yeah, opportunity, and to feel so much love, to feel such a deep connection, and to allow it to flow. Like, honestly, it's rarely, like, it's so beautiful for me to experience this flowy interaction, this flowy exploration, this flowy adventure, because it just all flows, and it feels so light and so full. It feels so intense and so real and raw and precious. It feels so precious, but it doesn't feel heavy. It doesn't feel, yeah, like I own it or like I need to do something. It's just there. like like if you're a tree, it's just like a branch with its own life, and it's just there. I don't know if that was a good metaphor, but yeah, now it's so funny going through the days, like being vulnerable with each other, expressing our truths with each other, like understanding, like I have my own process, you have your own process, respecting each other's process, acknowledging each other's process, giving each other space and time for our own process, um, and communicating truthfully, communicating openly, and just expressing what's there without judgment, and just staying in the heart and allowing it to unfold. And what's so interesting for me is like today my mind was thinking, making all these thoughts about, all of a sudden, like, wow, there's a new depth now in the interactions, and there's a new vulnerability, or a new ground which we're treading on. So my mind was already thinking, oh, I don't want to overwhelm her. I want to give her time and space for her own process. And I realize it's like my own fear, because it's like I don't want to overwhelm her and run away. I don't want to lose. So there's like this hidden fear. Like even saying that, I feel it's not about I don't want to lose, it's about I don't want to harm this being in any kind of way, because I just find this being so precious. Um, and so soft and gentle, and yeah, just sweet and lovely. And I don't wanna make it complicated. I don't wanna make it harder than than it is. So I have this thing of like I'm gonna give her some space, but I also realize that I need to communicate that, and not just like seem distant, or yeah, just like withdraw